Welcome to today's Explainer. We're going to be breaking down the profound psychological and honestly, the evolutionary realities of human behavior and attraction. If you've ever felt like the standard advice you've been given just, doesn't actually align with how people operate in the real world, well, you are in the exact right place. Because today, we're looking directly past all that polite social conditioning and diving straight into our underlying biology.
Okay, so let's kick things off by asking a question we've literally all wondered about. You see it constantly on screen, right? The relentless pursuit, standing outside a window with a boombox, the grand gestures, just pouring out endless emotion to win someone over. And sure, it looks absolutely incredible in a 2-hour film, but why is it that when people attempt these exact same tactics in real life, they often completely backfire, like coming across as super awkward or even worse, pushing the person further away?
Well, this comparison brilliantly illustrates the massive gap between the fictional idea of chasing validation versus the objective biological truth of how attraction actually works. Movies basically sell us the myth that infinite availability and sheer desperation somehow prove your devotion. But the dark reality of our psychology? It's way more grounded. It dictates that human beings don't actually respond to grand pleas. Nope. They respond to subconscious instincts, strong personal boundaries, and genuine internal self-respect.
So here's how we're going to break this down. First, the romantic movie misconception. Second, subconscious instincts and biology. Third, the power of strong boundaries. Fourth, the magnetism of unpredictability. Fifth, mastering emotional self-control. And finally, focused energy and purpose.
Let's jump right into number 1, the romantic movie misconception, where we're deconstructing that fictional mindset.
Listen, when you constantly seek validation and play that typical movie protagonist, you're actually projecting a really weak mindset. You signal a deep desperation and a need for approval just to feel okay. But here is the hidden cost, and it's a big one. Acting this way actually trains the other person's subconscious mind to sense weakness. Instead of sparking genuine attraction, you might just trigger pity or even guilt. It creates this highly unbalanced, entirely dependent dynamic that completely ignores how human psychology is literally wired to seek strength. It's a completely counterproductive cycle, and honestly, it just leaves you exhausted. Moving right along to Section 2, subconscious instincts and biology. These are the hidden drivers of behavior.
So the absolutely crucial point here is that attraction isn't just a logical choice you can talk someone into, right? It's not like negotiating a business deal. It is a deeply wired evolutionary instinct. Think of your subconscious like a radar that's constantly spinning in the background, pinging your environment for strength versus weakness, abundance versus desperation. And this biological radar, it easily overrides whatever social conditioning or polite, conscious logic we might be trying to force onto a situation. It's literally always searching for signals of genuine self-worth.
Which means, guys, you simply cannot fake it. You can say all the perfect things and consciously try to project this mask of a flawless, easygoing relationship, but your subconscious tells will always betray you. If you're operating from a place of underlying fear or anxiety, like if you're sweating on the inside, rather than projecting complete happiness from within, your body language, your tone, your micro-expressions, they are going to broadcast that loud and clear. Biology always tells the truth, no matter what script you're trying to read from.
That brings us perfectly to number 3, the power of strong boundaries or establishing a standard of behavior.
Establishing strong boundaries is fundamentally about one thing: protecting your energy. It means treating your attention as selective, limited, and highly precious. Definitely not something to be handed out to just anyone. When disrespect happens, you stand firm immediately. But, and this is key, you do it by refusing to become emotionally exhausted. You implement what's known as a silent boundary. This basically means walking away or stepping back without getting dragged into some endless, draining argument. You conserve your energy, and that inevitably projects immense personal power.
Just think about this in your own life for a second. Have you ever noticed how naturally we respect the people who respect themselves enough to just walk away from a bad situation without a fight? We subconsciously recognize and even revere people who firmly hold a high standard for how they're treated. Attraction deeply respects a standard of behavior, mostly because it proves your internal value without you ever having to say a single word.
Okay, Section 4, the magnetism of unpredictability. Let's talk about engaging the emotional mind. Now, it is absolutely vital to separate toxic emotional instability from natural variation here. Toxic instability is erratic. It's like a tornado driven by a total lack of control, and honestly, it just causes everyone around you severe anxiety. But natural unpredictability, that's entirely different.
That comes from being genuinely engaged in your own life. When you're playfully focused on your own goals, your presence naturally has variation. You aren't always instantly available, and that builds immense curiosity, because the emotional mind absolutely thrives on that exciting natural ebb and flow. The quote here says, "Our desire is connected deeply to natural variation and curiosity." And wow, that perfectly encapsulates why being predictably and constantly available actually pushes people away. We are biologically wired to be curious, to want to figure things out, you know? And curiosity requires a little bit of mystery and natural distance to survive. If everything is always 100% known and totally available, that biological drive to pursue simply shuts down.
Let's dive into Section 5, Mastering Emotional Self-Control. This is the true strength of the silent boundary.
When you're faced with a challenging or tense situation, how you react is literally everything. Emotional reactivity, like lashing out, raising your voice, getting visibly upset, that sends an immediate, clear message of weakness to the other person's subconscious. It shows an inability to handle pressure, and it proves they have emotional leverage over your state of mind. Conversely, quiet confidence projects immense stability. It proves your internal security is rock solid and not easily shaken by outside forces.
A calm and composed silence sends a powerful message. I really want you to absorb the weight of that. It is incredibly disarming to someone who's expecting a reaction. Sometimes the absolute strongest, most attractive thing you can do when provoked is, well, to do nothing at all. Silence proves you're entirely in control of your own internal ecosystem. And let me tell you, that level of self-control is universally magnetic.
And finally, Section 6, Focused Energy and Purpose, the ultimate truth of influence. Focused energy. These two little words are the absolute secret to shifting away from the dark reality of superficial tactics, games, and manipulation. This is where we cross the bridge from just understanding human biology to actually stepping into a space of genuine self-mastery and unshakable confidence. It's all about pulling your resources inward.
So, this progression to self-mastery happens in 3 distinct phases. First, you've got to stop seeking. You must stop radiating that scattered, validation-seeking energy we talked about at the very beginning. Second, you take all that reclaimed energy and identify your own personal goals and difficult challenges. And finally, by applying that intense focus to your own life, you master the self-control required to project complete happiness from within. By redirecting your energy toward a purposeful life, you naturally become that grounded presence human biology is so wired to respect.
The source material makes it undeniably clear across all these points. The real secret to attraction isn't about perfectly analyzing others or memorizing some clever script. It's about mastering yourself. It's about independently projecting complete happiness and embracing your own difficult challenges, instead of constantly chasing relationships, hoping they're going to fill some void in your life. It's like the old saying, when you build a beautiful garden, the butterflies come naturally. You really don't have to chase them.
As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a thought to evaluate your own daily actions and mindset. Look closely at where your energy is actually going right now. Are you burning it out trying to chase validation and approval from others? Or are you actively investing it into building a genuinely purposeful, fulfilling life for yourself?
Because at the end of the day, true mastery of human behavior and influence never starts with controlling someone else. It always begins with self-control. When you master your own energy, the world just responds to you differently. Thank you so much for joining today's explainer. And remember, your absolute strongest boundary is building a life you actually love living. Catch you next time.